everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stacy, and y'all, I got another good one for you today. But before we get started, please don't forget to like this video, leave your comments down below, and please share this video with someone that you think would help, Okay, y'all, I want to talk about a subject that is very touchy, and I'm gonna try to keep it together, but I just feel like I know I'm not the only one that have had to deal with this, and that sometimes find myself still dealing with it. If I haven't learned anything else from being on YouTube and doing these videos, and from the different comments and input that I'm getting, I'm learning I'm not the only one that go through things. It's so many of us with the same story, just different details. We the same story, just different details, and some of our stories mimic each other so much that it's almost like they mirror them to being identical. But you know, we all are individuals. We all have our own individual story. But I want to talk to y'all about abandonment. That is something that has really been following me my entire life. If you know my backstory, you know that I was raised by my mother's parents, and those was like my parents. They raised me until I was 13, and then I went to live with my mother from 13 to 16. Some things happened. I ended up back with my grandparents from 16 to 18, and then my grandfather passed away when I was 16, so it was me and my grandmother and my uncle in the house. And then my grandmother passed away when I turned after I graduated high school. I was class 89. We graduated in June. She passed in August. So after that, you know, it's like my support system was gone. Half of it was gone in 16, and then the other half in 18. And me and my mother were not close. We wasn't. We have built a very strong, solid relationship within the past 8 years. About in like the past 6 years. We have really built a really strong relationship. But before that, it was kind of touch and go. But both of us have grown so much in the past 5 to 6 years, and so a lot of things where I thought forgiveness had taken place, it hadn't. Because one thing about it, if you truly forgive a person, then you forgive. But if you find yourself, when you're talking about something that person did, and you find yourself getting all emotional and all hurt and angry, like it just happened, then you haven't forgiven that person yet, and there's still some unresolved issues there. So it was a lot of unresolved issues. There was a lot of half healings that took place, a lot of half forgivenesses that took place. But we're so much better now. We're really good now, and I'm so thankful for that. But I didn't realize until I was having a conversation with myself, actually, y'all, in March of this year. And it was actually that one conversation I had with myself changed my life. Okay? Changed my life. I was headed to Aldi's to go get my stuff to make this drink that I'll tell y'all about in another video. But I was headed to Aldi's to get some things. And I was having a conversation because I was thinking about something totally different. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, I'm talking, and then I begin to talk out loud because I was praying and talking to myself at the same time. And I began to talk out loud and I said, afraid of being abandoned. And then it's like a light bulb went off. And then I had this aha moment. And then it went to a moment of, oh my God. I did to someone what I never wanted done to me, and what I always feared and I always ran from it, and what I dealt with my entire life. I've been dealing with it all my life, and it was in March of this year that I had a moment and it clicked. And it was at that moment that I picked up the phone And I called Carrie and I asked her, was she available to talk? I said, you ain't got to do any talking. I just need you to listen, but I have to do this face to face. And she was available. And I was like, okay, well, I'm headed to Aldi's. When I finish, it's going to be in about 40 minutes or so, whatever. I said, because I'm en route. But once I get there and finish, can we meet? She said yes. Long story short, it was that day that things changed, because let me tell you something. We met, and I'm not going to get into our conversation, but I will say this. I understood at that very moment, because it was things that she would say to me, and we would get into whole arguments while we were separated. And I totally would disagree with what she was saying. I just felt like she just always was about confrontation, and that wasn't it. It wasn't it at all. She was speaking her truth. And at that moment, at that point in my life, I didn't want to accept it, because I didn't see it in me. But y'all, I had did something and I never realized, and I never looked at it that way, to be honest. So that started the healing process, because when we met, long story short, I apologized to her. And I admitted everything in my reasoning why. Didn't understand why, but it was that day that I understood why I did a lot of things. Because I grew up with so much hurt and so much people abandoning me, people that should have been in my life that would say they go be there and then would abandon me. I had this phobia and this fear. And it had gotten to a point where when I would see things going wrong, when I see things going left, before I allow somebody to walk out on me and abandon me, I would abandon ship first. Didn't realize that. But I'm thankful, because it was that particular conversation that day in the park that led to a lot of accountability, a lot of on both behalves, and it began the healing process for both of us. And from that day to this one, we started out by saying, if we can't be nothing else, we gonna be friends. But it went from there, and now we're here. And y'all, I just, abandonment is something. When you have been abandoned by people that you feel like, because I felt abandoned by my father. And for a long time, I felt abandoned by my mother. And so because of those feelings, because of that, I built up this wall that if you got in, you was good. And if you did one thing, that's where that cutoff game was so strong then. Because there was a time I ain't give nobody a second chance. And then I got to the point where I was I was like, okay, I don't want to be this person no more. So it's like, when you're learning balance in your life, you extreme one way or another. There's no gray area. And I went from cutting off people strong after one incident to giving you way too many chances. Now I know balance. First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Now I give you could do something to me and I'm going to forgive. But you do it again, now I got to make a decision. We talked about that in another video. But hey, when I tell you that abandonment thing is strong. When you have been abandoned by people that you know should have been there, or you feel should have been there, you build up this mistrust of other people to the point where you feel like if they wasn't there, surely this person ain't gonna be there. If they didn't care, surely this person is not gonna care, because they don't owe me nothing. And you tend to push good people away. You tend to think everybody's out to get you. Everybody is going to do you wrong. So you don't allow anybody in. You don't allow nobody to get close enough. And when you find that you're getting too close to something or somebody, you self-sabotage. I used to self-sabotage all the time because I did not want to get hurt. So if I found myself getting too close to somebody, Or they start doing something, I'm like, I already know how this finna. I tell you what, I cut it off before you will. I will abandon you before you abandon me. And that's not the way to live, because you, in the process of doing that, you will cut off the wrong people, and then you'll keep you'll keep the wrong people around and cut off the right people, and you still got a mess. I'm so thankful. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but I'm working. I'm daily working. I'm a work in progress. I try my best not to put everybody in the same category. I try my best to not let that fear of abandonment jump up in me. And every once in a while, because y'all gotta understand, this is still fresh. I just came to that realization just in March. It's just not August. So this is still fresh. But when I realized that's what's going on, I learned how to denounce it, because it has no place in my life. Where I'm going in life, I can't be afraid of abandonment. I can't be afraid of things like that, because I had to learn that saying, people come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime. Instead of looking at it as somebody's abandoning you, look at it like this. They had a reason. They had to come into your life for a reason. Once that reason has been served, they move on, because they weren't meant to stay. They were meant to serve a purpose. And then you have people that's in your life for a season. They come into your life for a season. God places them in your life for a season to implant something, to do something. They become the bridge to get from point A to point B. But then there are those that come into your life that are there for a lifetime. And those people, you'll know the lifetime people, because no matter what kind of time go by, y'all can pick up the telephone or meet face to face, and it's like y'all never miss a beat. Or that person that when you praying, then out of nowhere they calling, and they're there to listen. Some people just there to listen, and that's all a lot of times we need. We need a listening ear. Those lifetime people, you'll know the lifetimes from the seasonals or the regionals. But the things, and I made that up, but you will know the difference. Now, sometimes we will get those seasonal people mixed up with the lifetime. We think a person's supposed to be around forever when they were never meant for. They was only supposed to serve a purpose. They was there for a season to do whatever needed to be done, and then it's their season to move on to something else. Don't take offense to that. Learn to understand, Lord, and say, Lord, I thank you for the season that they were in my life, because that was a season that I needed them there. That was a season that you planted them there. And now that season, because we got to say, we seasons change. Just in the weather, we have 4 seasons. And seasons change, and every season serves a purpose. And that's what happens with seasonal people. They serve a purpose. But when their season is over, they move on to the next person or their next assignment. Because a lot of times, seasonal people, you are an assignment to them. And so when that assignment is over, they move on. They have to. They can't stay stagnant, because they're on assignments. Don't get offended by that. Don't allow the fear of abandonment to get you caught up and cause you to walk around pushing good people away and keeping the bad people close. That's all I want to say, y'all. Understand that abandonment will cost you a lot of things if you allow it to keep reigning in your life. If you keep allowing the fear or the thought of abandonment to stand strong in you, you run the risk of a lot of mishaps, and you're going to keep bumping into walls, and you're going to keep losing people that you shouldn't have lost, and you're going to keep holding on to people that you should have let go. When I learned, that was one of the best things, one of the best lessons I could have learned this year. And when I realized that I did the very thing to somebody, and it was out of my own fear that I did it, I righted my wrong. And when I admitted my wrong, the healing process began. And I'm so thankful for it, because look at us now. A lot of people use like, y'all still married, y'all ain't neither one of y'all got a file for a divorce. Now you worry about the wrong thing. Don't worry about what we doing. Let us worry about that. And I'm thankful that we didn't go through with it, because we did start the steps. We did. And that was not in God's plan. So it never did go through. It was always something. And look at us now. Yeah. So, Lord, I thank you. That's all I can say. And Lord, I thank you for bringing my issues before me, that I was able to take accountability and speak on it, and that I did not allow pride to get in my way of saying that I'm sorry and truly meaning it. And saying you sorry, an apology is not just words, it's a change of action. I didn't just say I was sorry, I didn't just apologize for those things. I showed it in my actions. So with that, y'all, we're going to end this one right here. You know I love y'all, my BSSTs. Please don't forget to like this video, leave your comments down below, and please share this with someone that will help. I love you, and I'll see you in